Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. This week we take a different approach to our program. Instead of doing the interviews, we have students from Missouri Southern conducting the interviews. And our topic this week is Missouri Southern State University. So stay tuned for the special edition of Newsmakers.
Being in Joplin, I think we sometimes forget that there are other places that we can travel to. And joining me today is Dr. Chad Stebbins. He's the director of the Institute of International Studies. And my name is Brandon Stokes. I'm a student here at Missouri Southern. So Dr. Stebbins, I kind of want to start off with, what does the Institute of International Studies do here at Missouri Southern?
Well, we're kind of the clearinghouse for all of the study abroad trips, whether they're short-term trips led by faculty or whether they are for students going abroad for an entire semester. Probably the majority of our students still go on the short-term trips where the faculty members make all the arrangements. The faculty member determines the itinerary, books the flight, books the hotels, determines what type of transportation they're going to use within the country, and kind of is responsible for the students during the entire duration of the trip. But at the same time, more and more students are choosing to go abroad for an entire semester or even an entire year.
And how do those trips differ from the faculty-led trips?
Well, we have about a dozen partner universities throughout the world where a student could go for a semester or even a year, and then we're also a member of the International Student Exchange Program, commonly known as ISEP, and with that program, students pay Missouri Southern tuition and room and board, so it's just a matter of them determining when and where they want to study abroad. And then we have other opportunities as well, like the Missouri-London program, which is operated jointly by all the universities in the state, and it's either fall or spring semester. So really quite a few opportunities for students to choose from.
And what are some of the kind of pros and cons between ISEP and these Missouri Southern sponsored trips?
Well, I think on the semester abroad, you get really more bang for your buck. In many cases, you can pay what you're already paying here for Missouri Southern tuition, room and board, and then go abroad at no additional expense except for your airfare. And if you have a 2.5 GPA and full-time status, we'll give you a $1,000 grant to apply towards your airfare. And in many cases, that covers it. The one drawback to going abroad for an entire semester would be that it's typically not common for a student to be able to work. So if you have car payments or credit card bills, we advise that you save up for 4 months so that you can meet those obligations while you're abroad.
Okay, and you said that if they go abroad for a semester, they get a $1,000 grant. How do these grants work?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have an international grants committee, and you as a student would apply for a grant. Now, if you're going on one of the short-term trips led by a faculty member, it's a $750 grant applied toward the cost of the trip. And again, you would just need a 2.5 GPA and full-time status. If you're going abroad for a semester, you submit a more formal application of what your goals and ambitions are and why you want to study at this particular destination. And then the grants committee, which consists of the 4 deans and a faculty member from each of the 4 schools, evaluates and votes on the proposals.
And what are some of the benefits that students can get while studying abroad?
Certainly it looks great on a resume. And nationally, only about 1% of university students study abroad. You would think that the percentage would be significantly higher. It is higher for Missouri Southern, but we're still, only around 5%. So when you graduate and apply for a job, if you've studied abroad, then you have a competitive advantage over 99% of the other people who might be applying for that same position. Now, why would an employer care that you've studied abroad? Quite a few reasons. The skill set that you develop and would bring back, problem-solving skills, coping, knowing about different cultures, knowing about how to exchange money, currency rates, knowing how to navigate a big city, reading a map. When you went to Paris, I assume you quickly learned how to ride the metro, all over the city. And you come back just really a changed person. you come back just with so much more self-confidence and thinking that you can solve just about any problem.
And Dr. Stebbins, where can students go if they want more information on studying abroad?
Well, two places would be our website, the Institute of International Studies, which can be found off the Missouri Southern homepage, and then probably more easily would just, if you're on Facebook, just simply like MSSU Study Abroad, and we do update that web page or Facebook page 2 or 3 times a week. You know, the trips that are coming up, different grants and scholarship opportunities, and news about students who are currently studying abroad.
All right, Dr. Stebbins, we thank you for joining us today to talk about all of the ways that students can study abroad. And if you'd like more information, just check out the website.
Hey, I'm Kenneth Barrett, and I'm sitting down here with Dr. Scott Wells, and we'll be discussing health and biology. Hey, how you doing, Dr. Wells?
Good, and you, Ken?
I'm okay. How did you come about being a professor in biology and science?
I kind of took a little bit of a different path to biology at Missouri Southern. I actually have a veterinary medical degree, practiced veterinary medicine, and got an opportunity to teach a night class in biology at Missouri Southern. Enjoyed it, loved teaching, and a full-time position opened up at Missouri Southern. And I applied and got that. And I love academics. I've loved it ever since. So very glad to be part of the biology department at Southern.
Okay, so with that, how was your, basically like your experience beforehand, even thinking about biology and science?
I mean, I've always enjoyed science. Even when I was a kid, I enjoyed science. Took a lot of science classes. In college, I was a biology major. Enjoyed those. Academics, I liked the academic environment, the learning, and so went the veterinary path, enjoyed that, made a great background, but I really enjoy working with the students, the classroom environment. So really all the different science background that I've had, I think has kind of led me to the position I'm supposed to be in, which I feel like is a teacher at undergraduate school.
Okay, so how would you basically encourage students that you actually teach to becoming a biology professor?
You know, of course, we have students in the biology department that are interested in a variety of areas, everything from wanting to go into professional school, maybe be a doctor, or go into teaching and maybe teach at another university. As an advisor, I really just try to get students to kind of pursue their passion, if you will, and if that's to become a teacher, you know, to help them prepare, take the right courses, help them do the outside things like internships so that they can go to graduate school and hopefully then go into an area that they really love, because I think if you go into something that you really enjoy doing, whether it's, again, teaching in the classroom or being a doctor, you're going to be very successful at that.
All right. So do you do any type of work outside of Missouri Southern?
I don't. Actually, when I first started, I did for a while, but I really found that I want to put all my energy and focus into the classroom and being a college professor. And so I mean, if you're talking about work-wise, I don't. Right. Outside other interests and things, I do. But yeah, as far as like work and things, I just am doing the biology and the science and things.
Okay, so do you have any family members or classmates like from that you're previously taught in like college? Do they actually like give you a phone call and ask you about things of that sort of with biology and science?
You mean like former students, or when I was in school?
When former students.
Yeah, I constantly am seeing our former students, and they'll call or stay in contact. In fact, that's I get a tremendous joy, and when this last weekend I saw one of my former students who I remember having not soon after I came to Missouri Southern in my introductory general biology class. Well, she's a doctor now in town. I got to see her and her husband and her kids. So I like that interaction with those students to see how they're doing. And occasionally we'll get them to contact us. They need some help. They're wanting to change career pathways, or they have a question about their particular work environment. And I really do enjoy getting to talk to them, see, it's kind of a little bit of a pat on the back on our end, if you will, to see that we can make a difference in the lives of these students. And so I really enjoy whenever they contact me, or if I get to see them in the community and see what they're doing now. It's really nice.
Right. So would you prefer actually like teaching at another university, or would you rather retire from Missouri Southern?
I fully anticipate retiring from Missouri Southern. The thing I like about Missouri Southern is how it is kind of student focused on the teaching. I know some universities have more of a research emphasis, but I really like the teaching emphasis here first. So knock on wood, I'll be able to retire from Missouri Southern.
All right. Well, it was good sitting down here with you, and thanks for taking your time out to sit down and tell me a little bit about biology and science.
Thank you very much, Ken.
All right. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. Today we're featuring courses at Missouri Southern that you might not know were available. And today our special guest is Peggy Lierheimer. She is an adjunct instructor for jewelry design course here at Southern, and we're just going to find out a little bit more about the course. Welcome, Peggy.
Thank you, Tara. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. How long have you been teaching at Missouri Southern?
Well, I am just starting my 10th year here at Missouri Southern. Finished 9 years, and it's been fun. I really enjoy it.
That's great. Now, you're an alumni of Missouri Southern.
Yes. I graduated from here in '96 and fell into the art department and jewelry design classes by accident, and loved it and stayed.
Awesome. Do you teach any courses outside of Missouri Southern, any jewelry courses or anything?
Well, I have in the past. Years ago, I had a bead store in close by, and I did a lot of general beading classes and taught ladies there. And now I occasionally have a Saturday afternoon class at the Dry Gulch bead store at the mall, and gotten to be real good friends with those girls, and we get to do lots of fun stuff.
They're very nice there. So when someone takes your course here at Missouri Southern, what kind of things will they be learning?
Well, the beginning class, I have them learn all the basics of the fabrication techniques. That's using a saw frame and doing sawing, filing, sanding, polishing, most important, soldering. And it's a process where you sheet goods to make an item, a piece of jewelry or something like that. And the other thing that I teach is the lost wax casting process, which is so very different from the fabrication, but those are the basics of what you need to know.
Oh, excellent. What kind of materials do your students work with?
Well, when I was a student, we worked with sterling silver, but it's gone up in price, so now we do a lot of copper and bronze and nickel.
Very good. Probably one of the most important questions is, do you have to be an art major to take your course?
Not really. We do have prerequisites for art majors, but I've also had a lot of dental students, and they come in and they get a pass on the prerequisites. So,
what are those prerequisites?
The two-dimensional design class is a prerequisite for the art majors, and that gives them a little bit of background on the design.
Awesome. When is this class offered this semester?
This semester we have moved it to 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have for many years taught it as in the evening class, but we're getting good turnout at 9 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday.
That can be early for the artists.
Yeah. Yes,
The artists tend to go a little later in the day, wake up a little later.
That's true.
Do you is this course available maybe not for credit?
I also offer a class through the continuing education department, and it's called Basic Silversmithing, and anyone can take that. We don't offer the lost wax casting through that, but I also go through quite a bit more of the practical, fun jewelry techniques in that one.
Very good. How many pieces does your students usually end up with at the end of the class?
Well, the beginning class, they will finish 4 projects. And the kids this semester, I've already got one she's made 3 beginning projects already. So there's no limit on how many you can.
So you said for your beginning students that so you offer a wide variety. It's not just a beginning course, it goes later?
It's the beginning class, it obviously is a prerequisite for the advanced jewelry class. We go into different techniques there. You can also take special projects in the jewelry design, and there's up to 7 semesters basically offered in jewelry and metalsmithing.
Excellent. How would someone go about signing up for your class or getting enrolled?
Well, if you're an art major, just talk to your advisor. Otherwise, go to the art department office and talk to Joan Carney. She's our secretary and in charge. She'll take care of you.
Thank you. Well, this has been very informative, and all the information you've given us is great. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Hi, I'm Jon Bertolet. I'm here today interviewing Professor Livingston of the MSSU Communications Department. Hello, Professor.
Hey, John.
So, how did you get into teaching?
By accident.
By accident?
I had a good opportunity that came upon me, really, when I was at Pittsburgh State University. Don't hold that against me. But as an undergraduate student getting ready to graduate, I was like what many people are here when they're getting ready to graduate, not really sure still what direction they want to go. You know, they have a degree. And I got offered a graduate teaching assistantship at Pitt State University, and I taught the basic course for 3 years, and I kind of fell in love with it.
So, do you like teaching? Is that something you're going to go further in your career with?
I do. I like teaching. I think it's always going to be a component of my career, no matter what I do. I still have a fondness for documentary filmmaking, and there's some other things that I haven't sought out yet that I'd like to research-wise, but I love teaching.
Sounds pretty fulfilling. What So tell me a little bit about your research work.
My research work, it's all over the place. It's kind of a smorgasbord of
a focus or anything?
Yeah, as far as the focus. When I was in graduate school, it was really focused on gender studies. As far as the type of research that I was doing dealt with things like feminism and masculinities. Now, actually in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be presenting at a conference about gender in grieving and loss. And it'll be a little bit different. I'm studying. I became a student again in order to prepare this particular lecture. But it's always focused on gender, and I really have an invested interest in loss, particularly in the relationship between humans and pets.
Right.
I think that relationship is interesting, and I think it speaks volumes about our interactions with how we deal with animal loss in particular. Like, have you ever lost a dog? Can I ask a question back? Have you ever lost a pet?
Yeah, mostly when I was younger.
It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends how attached you are to your pet and stuff.
Right.
What would your advice be for someone considering a career in communications? Like what jobs, opportunities?
Pass. Communication is kind of an all-encompassing umbrella. You have your mediated areas, you have your radio, you have your television, you have your film, public relations. I think it just depends on what your focus is, how introverted or extroverted you are as a person, but you can potentially work at any company, any entity, and find work in one of those areas.
It's a pretty good field to go into.
Oh, it's an excellent field to go into.
Figure out your options later. So, tell me a little bit, I was looking at your research interest and stuff. What is a woman's hierarchical status in Buddhist practices?
Oh, I took an interest in Buddhism because when I was in high school, my parents sought it out as a philosophy that they really liked. And I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And so it was something that later on when I was in grad school, I thought, what is Buddhism all about? And so I started, researching and finding out that there's some struggles in Buddhism with women as far as the hierarchy is concerned, as far as leadership. So I went and I found some things that were a little discouraging and some things that were really a little bit off the beaten path of what I would have thought Buddhism was about. Not to bash Buddhism, I'm not bashing Buddhism, but...
It's different than you expected.
Yeah.
Where do you think your future career may take you?
Hopefully, I would like to go on and continue my education and get a PhD or EDD. Like I said, I love teaching, and so I've thought about going on and maybe getting something in administration, but
See where it takes you.
still thinking about, education. Yeah. I'm not real sure on that. I've split the fence, so
right.
We'll see what happens.
This is kind of interesting. It says one of your research interests is homoeroticism in vampire folklore, culture, and media.
We don't want to talk about that.
Okay, it just sounded...
No, I'm kidding. It is interesting, but
right.
Probably not for our viewers at home.
And on your research projects, can you tell me a little bit more about the women in Buddhism, Osa Johnson, or the Life of Chile?
Those two, well, my paper about women in Buddhism, that was the first thing that I ever presented at a gender conference.
Right.
The other two, the documentaries, my Osa Johnson documentary that I did with a colleague of mine named Pamela Peters, and it was about one of the first female photographers. She's actually from Chanute, Kansas. There's a museum. Some of you might be familiar with them.
Right.
It's the Safari Museum in Chanute. And she was a woman that was about 5 feet tall, really good with a gun, traveled all over the world, and captured some of the first footage of cultures that don't exist anymore.
Oh, so sounds pretty interesting.
So it was fun to make a documentary about some people that are often forgotten about. And with the Life of Chile, some people thought that was about food.
Right. Well, appreciate taking your time from your schedule to come out and talk to us today.
Well, thank you, John.
Hello, I'm Terry Lynn Frazier, and today we're going to be talking with Heather Arnold, Director of Aquatic and Wellness, and we're going to be discussing the semester's wellness goals. Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Terry.
So what are this semester's wellness and health hut goals?
So our goals are to really get our prevention topics out. We have a lot of awareness and prevention wellness-related topics, so we want to make sure everyone's aware of those things. We've got anything from Wellapalooza kickoff, which is going on this week, to we've already had a Veterans Thank You and Service Remembrance Awareness Week, suicide prevention, mental health, dental hygiene, you name it. We cover all bases.
So what is the biggest event of the semester that you're looking forward to?
So the biggest event of the semester actually took place this morning, and it was our wellness screening fair. So that took place in Billingsley until about 11:30 this morning. We'll have Wellness Wednesday each week, though, Health Hut every week, and then end the semester with Finals Madness.
Now, today's screening fair, that also allowed for the public to come in, not just
Yes.
Missouri Southern students.
Correct. We try as much as possible to really get the public involved. We have wellness movies every other week that we invite them out to. We really want to get the public onto campus when we can and make sure that they see what we're doing, and hopefully in turn they'll turn around and support the campus.
Nice. So now what is the biggest Health Hut event that you have planned for this semester?
Health Hut, really all of our topics are equally important. We do try to make sure that our giveaways each week are themed towards that week's awareness campaign. So we want to make sure each week we try to switch out some of the items we have to be more relevant to whatever the topic is. And then we'll have some goodies like Band-Aids or pens and things like that that people may need all the time. So.
Who comes up with these ideas for the events?
Usually it's myself. I'll go online or try to look, planning with different committees I'm on. And then I also work with my wellness assistant and students in general and faculty staff to make sure of what they're looking for, so we're planning what they want.
Very good. So what is the very next wellness event that we can look forward to this week?
So we actually have Wellness Wednesday tomorrow, and that's Make and Take First Aid Kits. And then we'll have a movie on Thursday with Health Hut as well.
Now, are you a part of the movies and the pool?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do those as well. So each semester we'll have one dive-in movie usually. We do have it available for rental, so sometimes someone will rent out for an activity or an event or a movie, and we'll show those as well.
Now, how did you come up with movies in the pool?
I got to enjoy those when I was in college, and it was one of those things that just goes over really well. So we have other rafts, we have the food, we provide the movie and the huge blow-up screen, and usually music and games ahead of time. So
Is that a pretty big event?
usually we have around 50 to 75 people come out. So considering most people are kind of afraid of their swimsuits, we are pretty proud to have that many.
Have you had this semester's movie?
We did. We had it the first week of school. So our next one is planned for April.
Very nice, very nice. So what are you most excited about for this semester?
I think for this semester, I'm really excited and looking forward to Finals Madness. Now that Wellapalooza is in the middle and our biggest event is out of the way, I'm really looking forward to Finals Madness because it's our next biggest event. And it's really good to see all the students be so happy that the semester's over with and they only have finals left before their Christmas break. So.
It's like some light at the end of the
yes,
tunnel.
So it's great to see the relaxation on their face after seeing them having been so stressed out for a few weeks. It's nice to be able to see them relaxed and enjoying themselves.
Now, looking back on the past few semesters that you've been the Director of Wellness, what has been the most popular wellness or health hut event?
Oh gosh, probably our make and take fleece pillows. People absolutely love those, and usually we do anywhere between 150 to 200, and they're usually gone within 30 minutes or so. Well,
I can say I've never gotten a fleece pillow because they're always out by the time I get there.
So yes, they are. They're extremely popular. So, and we don't, we just want people to keep coming out and enjoying them. So.
Well, I do believe that you're doing a very wonderful job. Health
you.
and wellness is a big priority on Missouri Southern campus.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us today on Newsmakers. I'd like to thank the students who helped out with the interviews for this special edition of the program. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.